Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado. My name's Taylor, and today we're going to be going over a 2026 Winnebago EKKO. This is the 23B. This one has a few nice upgrades here. So we're going to go ahead and walk around the outside first, and then we'll end off on the inside. So let's go ahead and get on into it. All right, sliding up front here on that passenger side, we'll go ahead and start with our tires and our rims. Nice and upgraded for that BF Goodrich tire. And then you have that black stainless steel rim with the nice little W emblem for Winnebago in it. And then as we slide on over, we have our Winnebago running board. It has two nice little anchors on the side, perfect for some pets, nice little tie down. And another cool thing about this as well is you have it steeled to those chassis rails, so you don't have to worry about any bend or flex here. It's very strong and robust. And then as we work our way up here, you can kind of see we have that little sloped hood up top, full of insulation. Again, this is a 4-season coach, so if you guys wanted to go ahead and take this out to Aspen or Breckenridge in the middle of winter, you have the option of doing that as well. Another nice little steel superstructure that's going to be around the edges there. That's going to help with branches and kind of wear and tear as you're in the middle of nowhere and on rough terrain. That's going to help protect that coach. And then another little thing I just like to point out, all the little accents that Winnebago does. Over in that top right corner there, you have a little flag with the Winnebago W that is also in that steel superstructure. And then right above that, you have your custom roof rack that's going to have two solar panels on there that are 215 watts each. And then as we work our way down from that, we have our Carefree awning with that LED light strip. And below from that, we have our nice little porch light here. And then of course we have these nice dual pane windows here that are tinted, and they have a higher R value for that insulation too. Most coaches, that windows are going to be kind of that weak point of the coach, but having these dual pane with that higher R value is going to help keep the heat in and out and vice versa. Let's go ahead and start looking at some of the storage we have here. This is going to be our first storage compartment here, which is actually underneath that first seat. Once we get inside, you'll kind of see what I mean. But you can see you have your little seat belt tie down here. It is double latched. And a nice cool feature about the latch is too, as you go ahead and twist it to lock it in, as you can kind of tell possibly from the video, it goes in to kind of help tighten that seal. So just another little cool feature to point out. Sliding on over to our next storage compartment here is going to be the same. It has that plasticky tile here, and then we do have the carpet, and then kind of our other rugged flooring in there as well. Below here is just going to be our exhaust for that Mercedes chassis. And then we do have some charging options outside as well. And then if you wanted to go ahead and hook up a TV out here for some outdoor entertainment, you have the option of doing that. We have the dualies in the back. Again, same tire and same rim structure for you. And then directly over here, we have our nice Truma AquaGo. So that's going to be our tankless water heater. And underneath that, we have our 2 propane tanks here. I love these propane tanks just because they're super easy to go ahead and take out and remove, just like a typical barbecue propane tank. So if you wanted to go ahead and buy extra propane tanks for your travels, you can go ahead and just put them in the garage, which we'll get to next. We do have a nice little propane hookup here for a barbecue. And then this little black box here is just for your blind spot mitigation system. That's a part of the assurance package on the Mercedes. All right, now on to one of the great things about the EKKO is you have a fully insulated garage. Most other competitors that have a garage, they aren't insulated, and they're also still not, and they're not heated. So this whole entire framing of the EKKO is going to be fully insulated, as thick as this bay door here. It's kind of like a honeycomb feature, so it's going to help keep all that heat and cool in. And then of course you have your nice little accents inside of the garage as far as the molly board. You have some charging, you have some lights, and then you also have your nice little connectors here for that L track. So you can go ahead and tie down all your gear. And then lastly, you have your nice little mat too to kind of keep all those, to keep it as clean as possible if you had any snowy gear going in there. It kind of gets a little messy. All right. And now we'll go ahead and pop back here in the rear. You have your nice little ladder, so you can go ahead and access that custom roof rack. You can check out your 2 solar panels that are up there, and then you can also check out your AC if needed. Another cool feature right now is we have for our backup camera, as you can see, you have one that's pointed straight out. That's going to be for that rear view mirror. It's a digital rear view mirror, and then you have your backup camera right below. Instead of keeping that black, because you upgraded to that full body paint, Winnebago went ahead and painted that in there as well. And then you just have another access point here for your gear garage. I do like this one versus the other 2 side doors just because this one is on a hinge, so if it's really windy you don't have to worry about it flapping around or kind of fighting with the door while you're just trying to put in all your gear. And then down below here, you have your 5,000 pound towing capacity with the 500 pound vertical tongue weight. And then you do have your nice little 7-way connector here if you wanted to go ahead and tow a lighter tow vehicle. And then as we make our way to the driver's side, we have our nice little awning here. So this is the Alu-Cab shadow awning. It's kind of cool having this feature. It's another upgrade just because you can almost get 360 coverage with this out. And then all you have to do is go ahead and you hook it back here on that little prong back there. And then if it's really windy, unlike that Carefree awning that's automatically going to bring itself back in just due to high winds, you don't want to break it. This one has nice arms on it. So you can go ahead and just extend the arms and pin them down, and you can kind of still have an awning even though sometimes the conditions may not allow you to have one. So I like having that as an option. And then right over here for our wet bay, we have a nice little light so we can light this all up if needed at night. And then we have our water pump here, our fresh take fill, outdoor shower, which is a little higher, and then you do have a nice little hook here so you can go ahead and hook on that shower if you needed to. And then we have our freshwater inlet, winterization valves, and then you just have the input connections there for the portable satellite dish, which you can also slinky down into that hole so you can still keep this bay closed if needed. And then you have 2 more hooks here for nice little towels. Right over here we have our 30 amp shore power cord with the GLN, so that's going to go ahead and glow green just to let you know you have a healthy charge. And then you have another little solar port here, so if you wanted additional solar you can go ahead and just plug it in here. This is just going to be your exhaust for that Truma. We have our storage compartment, and then right over here is just an access point for our pump. All right, now right over here, this is just going to be for our toilet here. So this is going to be our black tank per se, but it's only going to be 5 gallons and it's a cassette toilet. One thing that's nice about this is if you want to go ahead and purchase another one to double your tank capacity, you can go ahead and do that. Or if this one just gets a little dirty over time and you want to go ahead and buy a new one instead of trying to clean it, you have the option of doing that as well. Another cool feature too is this door is also insulated, so you don't have to worry about anything in there getting any freeze damage. And now we're over here onto the good stuff. So this is going to be our lithium battery. This is the upgraded battery pack. So you have a total of 960 amp hours, which will give you about 6 to 8 hours of being able to run that AC. Of course, given on how hot it is, but that will kind of help maintain some cool inside of your coach, so you don't have to worry about plugging in or start a generator or anything like that. And even while you're driving down the road, you can go ahead and have that AC running if you'd like. Right over here is just going to be our diesel fill, that 24.5 gallon tank. We have all the luxury amenities for that Mercedes as far as the leather seats, and then we have the electric lumbar, and the other electric configurations are going to be right here on the door for that chair. And then you have up to 3 memories and up to 3 settings for that heat as far as high, medium, and low. Let's go ahead and pop that hood, take a few glimpses of the chassis, and then we'll work our way on the inside. All right, Perfect. So this is on that new 4-cylinder chassis. Again, it's the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. Another thing I really like about the upgrade on this chassis that they kind of did away with that 6-cylinder is just because this is a lot easier to drive as far as the lag. There's not as bad of a lag, kind of a little bit more peppy, and I've had a lot of customers kind of contact me and say that it's just phenomenal to drive. So right over here we just have our coolant and our DEF fill. And then on the other side is where we have our oil and then our windshield wiper fluid. Again, so this is on the Mercedes all-wheel drive chassis. It is a little bit higher than that Ford. So it's not as easy to kind of see everything, but it's still as accessible as the other one. Alrighty. Now we'll go ahead and take our first glimpses of the inside. We have a nice screen door here. This is just the regular screen door, and then on this side you have a nice little plastic superstructure, which is also great for pets. Another thing I always like to point out too is you have a total of 6 hinges just on this screen door. It is very heavy duty. I mean, you could shake the whole coach with just a screen door, so Winnebago didn't chimp any money here as far as quality on that screen door. As we enter, we have our fire extinguisher to the right of us. And then I'll just make sure I'm getting all these lights on here. And we will go ahead and start in the back. Alrighty. So we have 2 twin beds, and then you have this centerpiece here, which is kind of a multi-centerpiece. You can go ahead and use it as a divider, so you have a nice little cup holder here, and then a space to kind of set some snacks or a tablet or a book, anything you like. But when you don't need it for that and you want to go ahead and make the bed a little bit bigger, you'll just go ahead and put this in the center here. I don't want to put my feet on top of the bed, otherwise I would go ahead and demonstrate that to you, but it's very simple and straightforward. We have some charging up above here, and then you have 2 reading lights, a blue light and then a white light, so for one at night and one during the day. In this storage compartment you have nice carpeted setting here, so to help with the noise and rolling around. And then you also have some charging in that corner, which I know it's kind of hard to see, so what's going to be right here is exactly what's inside of this cabinet as well, so you don't have to worry about sharing any of the charging amenities. And then as far as for the window, I know we kind of briefly talked about them, but I love this plastic framing around there, because then if you go ahead and have the screen down, it's going to lock out all the bugs. You don't have to worry about any bugs getting inside. And then rain or shine, you can kind of have these awning frame windows open, just because it will leave all the water kind of pouring off like an awning instead of making its way in here. And then you also have a nice little blackout screen here. Another feature that I really like, just because you can kind of do half and half if you'd like, or if you just wanted a little bit of light, since the blackout stage kind of gives you the most privacy, you could still have that window open and get a nice fresh breeze in here if needed. This is just a nice little thing for that front. You'll go ahead and button it up, and it kind of gives you a little bit more insulation to kind of keep the cold out, or the heat, whichever you'd like. And then we do have some nice storage underneath the bed here. You have a drawer, as you can see, on either side, so it's kind of split it down the middle again, since this coach was made for 2, possibly 3 if you wanted to go ahead and sleep with a kiddo in here. And then you can also have the option of a pop top. This one just doesn't have it, but they do have that, so you can kind of up that sleeping capacity to 4 people. And then the bed is also on a hinge here, so if you wanted to go ahead and access any of the storage this way instead of having to bend down, you have that as an option as well. Perfect. You have this nice big table here, which will I'll kind of show you where it goes, but it's kind of nice because it's on a swivel, so you can go ahead and lock it in place or unlock it and move it around if you needed. It just kind of helps you get out when you are sitting down, so you don't have to worry about taking the table out completely, to kind of make it a little bit more convenient to work through. Right over here we have just our Truma configuration, so you can go ahead and turn on your heater there, and then these are just the 2 light switches for the bathroom, which we'll go ahead and get into next. Alrighty. So one cool feature is just the pivoting door, and then also having that window is really nice as well. So it's very spacious. You have a nice little cabinet, and then of course that bamboo shower surround. The cabinet right above. Perfect. And then when you're ready to take a shower, you go ahead and have the pivoting door swivel there. But you do have a button up here, so when you're not on level ground, you don't have to worry about it kind of closing in on you. But you have two nice little hooks here, and it's just nice because it covers that toilet, so you don't have to worry about the toilet getting wet while you're showering, and it just offers a little bit more space and convenience, which I really like. And then you still have your shower curtain, so you don't have to worry about the door getting wet and then bubbling later on. All right, now we'll jump over here to our little kitchen area. As you can see, we have our microwave, which is also convection. That's going to be a difference between that Ford, between the Mercedes. You have the convection oven in here versus not having one in the Ford. Nice little pantry with adjustable shelves. Our kitchen window, and then we have our split sink. This one does offer a bigger sink. And it's just kind of nice having the split sink, just because if you needed extra counter space, you could still use your sink while having the flexibility of having the extra counter space as well. Right now, we don't have our cooktop up here, but it is in this drawer. I just wanted to kind of show you all the drawer capacities here. And then you have that single burner true induction cooktop, which is kind of nice, so you can go ahead and plug it in and use it right here, or you have the option of using it outside as well. This is just something you can use where this was, so you can kind of add in some extra counter space as well if you needed that. It's just a nice little piece of wood to up that capacity for the counter space. And then we'll go ahead and check out our fridge. So we have our Norcold fridge and freezer. Freezer up top. And then we have some nice little drawers, plenty of space. And then right up here is just where our solar charger is. And then this is where we can go ahead and start our AC, check on our batteries, and also check the tank levels. And then our Xantrax is up here. But then we have some nice storage up here, perfect for those crackers or chip boxes up there. Alrighty, we'll just keep moving on down this way. So right now, I'll move these cushions. But you have the option of just using this as a single person seat. And then you have that three-way seat belt here. And then if you don't want the table, you can go ahead and just collapse it down. It unlatches back there. And then you'll pull it out. Push this down. Just know when you are driving, the table needs to be up, of course, if you wanted someone to sit there. But if not, you can go ahead and convert this into a couch setup. And then of course you'd move this as the backrest and kind of make it a couch facing this way, which is really nice. And then this is what covers that part. You just have to rearrange the cushions a little bit, so now you kind of have a little mini couch once you turn this back there. And then you have another spot over here where you can go ahead and sit down. This is that first bay compartment that we looked at the beginning of the video, where you had all that space. So it is underneath here, and that's where you seen you had that one lap belt. So you just have a lap belt on this side and then the 3-point seat belt on the other side. But what is really cool about this is you have the option of sleeping 3 people, depending on the size, because you'll go ahead and put that big table right here, rearrange the cushions again, and then you have another option of someone to sleep inside without needing that pop top feature, which is really cool. And then this is where that table would go. In the meantime, with these chairs swiveling, you can sit up to 5 people on the inside as well, which is really nice. So if weather is on the colder side or it starts raining, you can still have a little bit of space to go ahead and entertain folks in here. We're just going to go ahead and wrap up with some more storage that we have overhead, and then we'll go ahead and jump up front, and I'll show you some of the Mercedes conveniences. And then of course you have the storage over here with your TV and sound bar, and then some more storage over here in addition to the overhead as well. Perfect. Let's go ahead and jump up front. Turn that on. Alrighty, all new for 2026. They do have a nice little upgrade as far as the Mercedes. You have your plus and minus for that shifting up here, a little bit sleeker of a style steering wheel, and they kind of changed a little bit of the configurations up here as well. But still, everything on this side is going to control that LED dash, and then over here is going to control that home screen. It's just more of an aesthetic. And then we have our navigation, phone, radio, media, apps, some more information, and then our devices, so we can go ahead and pair. Speaking of the devices, you can also have your wireless charging up there, and then you have some more charging options as well, and then you have more storage up ahead, and the cup holders. Endless amounts of cup holders, our hazard lights, radio, and AC. And then if you did want to go ahead and charge your key fob, you do have a nice little section down here. I just don't want my hair to kind of get in the way of you seeing that. Perfect. You just plug it in right there. And then while you're going down the road, not only are your keys in a safe spot, but then you're also charging them while you're going down the road. And of course, that rear view mirror dash is a beautiful upgrade, and it's nice because it's from Mercedes, so it's EOM, I believe is what they call it, so you don't have to worry about doing that aftermarket, and it kind of gives you the convenience of being able to go down the road and know what's going on behind you without kind of guessing. So gives you peace of mind for sure. But if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about any Winnebago product, I'd be happy to help you guys out. Again, this is the 2026 Winnebago EKKO 23B. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my information below, which is 970-388-7937. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.